Good, happy Tuesday evening. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Tuesday evening edition of The News with Riley King. Let's begin. Tonight we begin with On This Day in History. Let's take a look. And on this day in history, in 1979, Pope John II, on a week-long U.S. tour, became the first pontiff to visit the White House, where he was received by President Jimmy Carter. Very cool indeed. It's good to learn some history. Americans suffering through pandemic respond to Trump's message. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
We have the latest on the coronavirus emergency. The U.S. closing in on 7.5 million cases this morning. Stephanie Ramos joins us now with more on the nationwide surge in cases. Good morning, Stephanie.
Robin, good morning. Since President Trump announced his diagnosis in the United States, there have been more than 177,000 positive COVID cases reported and more than 2,200 deaths reported here at home. Hours before President Trump's assurance overnight,
don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it. You're going to beat it. We have the best medical equipment. We have the best medicines.
Johns Hopkins University reported more than 210,000 Americans have lost their lives to this virus. On Friday, in Arkansas, Keith Michael's wife, Suzanne, who was a teacher for 14 years, died from the virus.
She was feeling really, really bad. She just got to where she coughed so much, she wasn't able to breathe.
Veteran teacher Olga Quirojas passing away Thursday in Chicago. This year, she was teaching online, but her family says she got sick after a back-to-school event where she handed out supplies. And Jose Blanco, an essential employee working a minimum wage job, contracted the virus from one of his kids. The family of 5 lost their home to a fire and have been living in a studio apartment. His wife says the virus spread so fast.
We never thought it would hit us. We were always precautious, wearing a mask, having hand sanitizer in the car, hand sanitizer in the house.
32 states and Puerto Rico are seeing a rise in cases, hospitalizations climbing in 35 states. Since President Trump announced his diagnosis Friday, nearly 2,300 more Americans were reported to have died from COVID.
We just have to be diligent and trust health professionals and trust the president. I don't think he wishes Americans to just die.
So the message, don't be afraid, outraging to some of those families who lost loved ones to the pandemic.
And unfortunately, the president doesn't get that. He don't care.
And the CDC now acknowledging airborne transmission is possible indoors after warning the public weeks ago that the virus could spread by tiny particles called aerosols, only to take that warning off their site days later. Michael.
All right, Stephanie, thank you so much, and wear your mask.
Well, hey there,
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Very important to wear a mask, everyone. Joe Biden holds town hall after another COVID-19 test as early voting begins. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Now to the latest on the state of the race for the White House. With just 28 days until the final votes are cast, President Trump saying he'll return to the campaign trail just after being released from the hospital, as Joe Biden hits a key swing state. Mary Bruce is in Washington with all the latest. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Michael. Well, overnight, the stark difference between these campaigns and how they are tackling this crisis was on full display. The president taking off that mask, downplaying the virus, while Joe Biden is imploring Americans to wear masks and take precautions. Biden says he's glad the president is recovering, but that the nation has not yet recovered from this. And he says the president just isn't taking this seriously enough. Shortly after the president defiantly removed his mask, overnight Joe Biden said Trump still doesn't get it.
What is this macho thing? I'm not going to wear a mask. What's the deal here? Big deal. Does it hurt you? Be patriotic, for God's sake.
Biden saying point blank Trump bears responsibility for getting infected.
Look, anybody who contracts the virus by essentially saying masks don't matter, social distancing doesn't matter, I think is responsible for what happens to them.
As the president tells Americans not to be afraid of COVID, Biden urged the country in an NBC News town hall to take this virus seriously.
I hope no one walks away with the message thinking that it is not a problem. It's a serious problem.
Biden has been campaigning full steam on the road in the key state of Florida Monday, wearing a mask throughout his socially distanced events. His wife pulling him away as he talked to reporters, reminding him to keep his distance.
Hey, Dad. I'm sorry.
While the president's campaign is trying to forge ahead as Trump recovers, overnight hosting its first virtual Make America Great Again campaign event.
He fought for you, so I want you to fight back for him.
Trump is promising to be back on the trail soon, his team saying he intends to be at the next debate, set for October 15th, exactly 2 weeks after he tested positive. Biden says it should be up to the medical experts.
The scientists say that it's safe and the distances are safe, then I think that's fine.
But first, it's their running mate's turn. Despite health concerns, the face-off between Kamala Harris and Mike Pence is still on for tomorrow night. Pence continues to test negative, but it's been just a week since he was last in contact with the president before Trump tested positive. There will be some changes, the Biden-Harris team requesting the candidates be more than 12 feet apart, separated by plexiglass. And after some in the audience at last week's debate, including members of the president's family, refused to wear masks, this time anyone without a mask will be escorted out. And Michelle Obama this morning is making a rare foray into this race. We are getting a first glimpse at a video coming out later today. The former First Lady making her closing argument, speaking about the Joe Biden she knows and outlining what is at stake in this race, from the pandemic to issues of race. 28 days to go, Michelle Obama urging all Americans to get out and vote. Michael?
A lot of people wait to see what her message is. Thank you so much, Mary. We're going to have full coverage of the vice presidential debate tomorrow. George will be anchoring with our political team.
Well, hey there, GMA.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Protests in California call for end of deadly conflict between Armenia and Armenia. Let's take a listen to that video from News Nation Now.
Just last night, demonstrators temporarily blocked a freeway in Hollywood, some waving the Armenian flag as police tried to clear the area. A similar protest was held farther north in Fresno, where the group called for peace between Armenia and Azerbaijan forces. They're planning to gather there again tonight. Many have family who are on the front lines of the fighting.
Bomb explosion killed everybody from his crew, and he stayed alive, but he had gunshot wounds to his lower spine area, to his arms. He had the bomb shards, throughout his body wherever he wasn't covered by the tree, and thank God the tree was there, it saved his life.
And these U.S. demonstrations we've seen over the weekend were mainly in support of Armenia, and that could be because of the American community here. Surveys estimate nearly 500,000 Americans claim Armenia ancestry. The Department of Homeland Security said between 2001 and 2010, just under 10,000 Azerbaijanis were also U.S. citizens.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And let's see how your stock market did for this Tuesday. And here's a look at how your stock market did for this Tuesday. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the red and went down. Your Nasdaq closed in the red and went down. S&P 500 closed in the red and went down. Gold closed in the red and went down. Oil closed in the red and went down. US 10-year closed flat. Euro/USD closed in the green and went up. And VIX closed in the green and went up. Stocks set to fall a second day after Trump halts stimulus talks. Dow futures fall 100 points. U.S. stock futures moved lower in overnight trading on Tuesday after President Donald Trump called off settlement talks until after November election. Dow futures fall 100 points. S&P 500 futures and Nasdaq 100 futures fell 0.53% and 0.5%. And that does it for this evening edition of The News with Riley King. Thank you for watching this Tuesday evening edition of The News with Riley King. Have a great rest of your Tuesday evening. See you back here tomorrow evening for more news coverage. Good night and goodbye, everyone.